Hello viewers, it's Super GT here. Would you like to see a dirty start around Watkins Glen? Of course you would. So let's go. Let's see how it goes into turn 1. Beetle on my right hand side. Okay, actually not too bad through the first corner. The McLaren there making contact with the Celine. Into the second corner. Oh no, the Lancer got it all wrong. Made contact with the McLaren. And I'm through into second. Would you like to see another dirty start around Watkins Glen? Yes, of course you would. Let's do it. Back of the pack this time, moving to the inside. I'm against the wall, got nowhere to go. These guys are just going to come across. I'm just going to back out here, and then, oh my god, all manner of hell has just broken loose on turn 1. And I'm through, past about 20 dead people, into the second turn. Actually, not too bad through here. Actually, no, it is quite bad. That was a Selena 7 off. I'm through into 8th, so overall, pretty awful start around there. So let's see what happens coming down into the chicane. Is it going to get any worse? Hopefully not. And then into here, yes, Aston Martin into the wall. Celine makes contact with the Aston Martin. I'm through. A couple of laps later, or the next lap actually, looking up the inside of the Maserati, driven by a Hungarian, he's just not going to give me any space at all. I'm on the edge of the track, but he wants more than what he's got. The Celine comes through, makes contact. It's all got very messy. It gets very clumsy. I just crash into the end of the wall, very clumsily. Overall, finishing 7th at the end of the race. Not very good at all. Okay, let's move to some proper racing, or it might not be actually. In the Ford GT, tuned by none other than JSR Lee Campbell, of course. Thank you, JSR Lee Campbell. Remember to say it every day, guys. Thank you, JSR Lee Campbell, at least once a day. Beetle's out. He's gone round and he's created a bit of a roadblock back there, blocking everyone else off behind me. Thank you for that. I'm just going to cut across this Ford GT, take 5th place rather ruthlessly, just letting that McLaren go ahead. Got the Honda NSX driven by Bobs ahead of us, our teammate, as we go flying down into the hairpin. Ford GT just behind. Going to get on the brakes just before the 300. McLaren is off. And then at this point here, we seem to have got ourselves into a bit of a problem. 4 abreast around the hairpin. Not always going to work, as this proves. As I go flying round, and then I'm into the wall. Not good starting at all. Down to 10th, down to 11th. Will I lose another position? Looks like one more guy yet. Going to go down into 12th. Actually, no, I'm going to ghost out here. Cheeky little ghosting overtake. Loving that. And then into the hairpin on the second lap. We have another incident. That's the Honda NSX off again, driven by Bobs. GTR Bobs is off again. Now we have GTR Classic just ahead of us. Driven, or driving the Selena 7, tuned by myself. How about that? I tuned this car so long ago, pretty much when the game first came out. So I don't really know how good that car is compared to more developed tunes. I'm not really much of a tuner myself, but it seems to be driven okay by Sir Classic here. On the exit though, this Ford GT has just got the legs over that Celine into the left, and I'm through into 5th. Another Ford GT just ahead of us. As we look up the inside, he's given us the space, and we're just going to edge him out. He kind of bails out there. Just gives me the position into the second to last turn, a little bit wide on the apex, but then decently out onto the straight, and we are away, finishing 4th in the end after all that. So now, Brands Hatch. Fortunately, we're on the left hand side, so we're not in the ditch on the right, where you pretty much just have wheel spin for about 8 days before eventually getting away. Now, coming down the hill, we've got the biggest puddle of all times. Now that should really be classed as an ocean, I think, that, rather than just a puddle. So around the top hairpin here, coming downhill, past the gravity-defying puddle. Somehow that's just staying there. And if you stay, let's say you did a race 50 laps around here, that puddle would just stay there, even though about an hour would have passed. Very strange gravity around Brands Hatch, it must be said. So into the last turn. This is the Indy circuit, so the short version. Just 6 laps. I'm driving the Lamborghini, tuned by Yes, you guessed it, JSR Lee Campbell. Thank you, JSR Lee Campbell, by the way. And then coming down the main straight. Second place, okay, so not too bad. We started third, so just one position there. Let's see if we can gain one more position on this lap. Going past the Pacific Ocean there on the right hand side, up the hill, he has covered the inside line in his drift skyline, and then on the exit I just can't quite get the power down quick enough, or I get it too quickly, and actually I'll go a little bit wide and carrying the speed through here quite nicely. The skyline going a little bit wide there, driven by Bobs. No worries there at all. Into the left, this corner here is so tricky to get right. Really struggle with that one. It's actually quite a hard track overall, I think. This corner here as well. You just have to be so patient on the throttle. This car fairly stable though. Just a little bit stiff. That might be his only downside, if it has one. Actually no, it doesn't have a downside. It's tuned by Lee Campbell, so it doesn't have a downside. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything bad about it. Okay. So into the first corner. Hitting the apex nicely, and once again past the Pacific Ocean, taking that nice line there. You don't really want to go too abreast through there, otherwise one of you has to wade into the water, and that is not what you want at all. So the skyline just getting away from me here. Not a good lap really, losing maybe a second or so. We have backmarker troubles, or we will do in a minute. This track is notorious for having backmarkers. It is a very short track, only about 45 seconds, but this backmarker, that is how you should be a backmarker. Just let everyone go. Gets off to the side, not on the racing line, not in a stupid place, and just lets us go. That is absolutely brilliant from him. But unfortunately, that can't be said of everyone else that was in this race. So let's see what happens. He just turned one a little deep this time, and you can see there's just going up the hill we have two more backmarkers. So we have plenty more trouble in store. Unless they were as good as that guy who we just overtook, well, which I doubt, then we are going to have some trouble here. Coming down the hill, skyline a little bit sideways. This corner here is very hairy. I almost go off. You've got that puddle to go through on the way down the hill, the gravity-defying puddle, and then you've got that massive hill on the other side. If you go too wide there, you're going on that hill for about 10 years, and you are never coming back down. Bob's there, just drives straight on. He's dead. He just died, honestly. True story. And then coming through the last corner, Tisky now has come out of nowhere in his little green mean machine, the Ford RS200. That thing has got some serious acceleration, I can tell you that. Now into the first turn, I got a little bit defensive, or am I just trying to take a better line than I did on the previous lap? Mercedes just comes back on, makes contact with the Volvo. So up the hill, on the brakes, we are in nicely. Apart from when that guy goes flying into the back of me, wipes me out, and Tisky. That's the pair of us out. There's Tisky there on the left hand side in his green RS200. So down the hill I'm still in first somehow after all that. So it didn't affect me too much, but I'd still rather it didn't happen. You know, it's preferable not to get smashed off the track. I do much prefer that. Don't know about you. Okay, last corner here. We caught up with that Mercedes once again, it looks like, and that Volvo. So we've got to do it all again here. As we come down the main straight, which isn't really straight, Mercedes gives me space very nicely, but into the first turn, he probably thinks I'm racing him for position, tries to go back up the inside, so I just go actually get the momentum on him around the outside. Then we've got a guy here turning it into a drift session. I think he's joined the wrong lobby there. Makes contact with the Volvo, then I kind of graze past the Volvo on the way down the hill. He obviously wasn't pleased with that, because now he's going to come in and just push me off onto the never-ending hill, and then actually died of starvation before I got back. I was off for that long. Look, oh my god, it just takes so long to get back onto the track. This guy goes around my outside in the Donkavort. We just made contact. It's got very clumsy here. Very clumsy indeed. I'm going to finish fourth unless I get my shit together here, as someone is catching up. Classic is catching up with me. So I'm going to finish fourth. After all that, I should have probably finished second if Bob's didn't have a controller death on lap 3 or 4. And all of those backmarker incidents. Oh well, fourth place. We crossed the line there. So we're going to move to a better race, thankfully. Some actual proper racing for you this time. Let's see what we can do. Into the first corner, moving over to the racing line. I am behind Bob's from the GTR club as well, and Tisky behind us. So GTR 1, 2, 3. So again, this is the full GT. tuned by JSR Lee Campbell, yeah, and he is in the Lamborghini Huracan in the lead there, tuned by JSR Lee Campbell. You're probably seeing a theme here developing in S-Class. His name is JSR Lee Campbell and he makes really good tunes, in case you didn't know, so thank you JSR Lee Campbell. I just got to say that again. Into the hairpin. Okay, that is beautifully done. Taking a nice late apex. Now this is going to develop into a nice respectful race, a sheer contrast to the Brands Hatch one, it must be said. And then coming through the kink, I'm going to go in a little bit deep. That was a bit of a silly move, probably shouldn't have done that, but you know, makes it more exciting, I guess, for the viewers. And then coming through the right-hander into the central straight here. Not quite running out onto the curb. We got Tiski there in the McLaren behind us. Again, another quick car, tuned by JSR Lee Campbell. And then through into the stadium section. We see that proximity arrow getting orange. I'm going to cover the inside, make sure he can't get up my inside. And then Bob's there, getting a good exit. But I actually get the speed on him here. Going to dive up the inside once again. A little bit too deep though, once again. He gets back past me on the undercut. And then he goes a little bit too deep this time. I'm going to get him on the undercut. And then go into the lead. Tiski retires there. I'm not sure what happened to him. Something bad, I guess. But it's going to develop into a nice race between the two of us. Through the first corner, that is how you take that first corner. This car has so much stability and acceleration and power and braking capability and everything else pretty much. Has the lot. Second corner, hit the apex nicely. Way to go on that throttle so that we can take this left-hander flat out. You don't want to have to lift off with that left-hander. If you're having to lift off through the left, it means you're taking the right too fast or too wide, and or it could be both. So into the hairpin. Spotting our braking point, which I don't actually manage to do. I go a little bit too deep. That's going to give Bobs the run here on the exit, or is it? I'm going to go a little bit sideways on the exit, and then it's going to be a drag race up this straight. I'm just going to back out a little bit, let him go ahead, so we can both take the racing line, which is actually quicker for both of us. Sometimes it's better to let the other guy go, and then you can both take the proper racing line. That's more about saving time overall rather than trying to beat this opponent. Sometimes it's better just to save time for the pair of you, to make sure that guys behind can't catch up. So into the right-hander, just following through very nicely. Both these cars are very evenly matched, I must say. They're not exactly the same. I think the Ford actually, it might just have a bit better power from what I can tell. And maybe the Lambo has better handling. I'm not sure, I haven't tried it. I cut that corner a little bit. I was thinking about going up the inside once again, but I backed out. I didn't want to cut a corner and then overtake him. A little bit unfair. So I backed out there. He's got a bit of a poor exit though from the final turn. I'm going to get a run into the first turn. Thinking about it, I wasn't quite going to be alongside, but again, that's a matter of making sure we both go through the corner cleanly, quickly on the racing line. So he's going to cover the inside. I'm going to look around the outside. Not really a place to go around the outside, so we're going to look for the cut back. And again, he's just going to cover me off, and then through here we're going to think about going to the left. And then I thought I might as well just stay in this slipstream and then wait for a move up the inside rather than being on the outside for the hairpin, which is a right-hander. So you do have to consider that. Looking for our braking point just before the curb starts, and we're just going to go up the inside in a very nicely timed move. He gives me the space. He does a cut back. It's gonna again be a drag race up this straight. But this time I'm going to win out. I'm going to be the winner. As we head in, I'll go in a little bit late and just graze the curb. Not too bad, but a little bit later than I would have preferred. A little bit too deep into the left, but we are through cleanly into the lead. And that was pretty much going to be the end of the racing in this video, or this race indeed. So in the end, coming through to finish first. Testament again to this Ford GT, tuned by JSR Lee Campbell. So there you go, guys. A bit of a mix this video. Some proper bad stuff and some good stuff as well. So, you know, overall a bit of a mix. Good to see some good racing in there as well. I think that's the main reason as well why I joined the GTR club. Good guys in there. They're fast, but they're the same kind of level as me as well. So the racing's always going to be good. so pleased with that. So that's going to bring a close to this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts. As always, subscribe if you're new and you'd like to see more of the same. Plenty more Forza content coming your way. Hit that like button, guys, if you did enjoy the video, and I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.